Alright, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, coming into another night of some IGL. This time 2v2 action USD server, Tier 2 D2 between the old fellas and the St. Louis 50 Kings. The St. Louis 50 Kings coming to this one 3-2 with 56 goals for and a 56% win rate. Well, the old fellas coming to this one 2-2 with 63 goals for and a 53% win rate. We're looking at some even matches tonight, and ideally it is going to be a good one. Let me quick update the title. Bam. Updated. Good. But we will be waiting on the players. This one should be starting up at the top of the hour. Alright, here we are seeing the players for old fellas join up. Now we just wait on the 50 Kings and we should be good to go. And with that, it looks like we have all players in this game. As we see the old fellas join up, and do we see the St. Louis 50 Kings? Yes, we do. Alright, all players in game. We should be good to go on this one. Alright, the 50 Kings for blue, the old fellas for orange. Off the kickoff, Preach popping one high. Huey Dangles putting it back down in front, making the save on that one. Taken by Bearded Benny back across. Preach playing off that sidewall, back to himself, firing one towards the net, but Huey Dangles puts it back out. Nuthers putting it back into the corner here. No others were left. That would make more sense. Preach with the touch to push it away from Bearded Benny. No others were left. Tries to follow this one, and he will. Passes back across to Preach. Preach met by Huey Dangles back in front. Out. No others plays. Bearded Benny playing to the center. His teammate not able to redirect, still fell towards the net. No Others is able to push this one out. No Others popping. Tries to play center. Bearded Benny sitting on it, and he puts this one away. Bearded Benny J striking 49 seconds into this one, jumping on the attempt to cut across the center, and the 50 Kings find themselves up 1. Back to the kickoff we go. Huey Dangles met up by No Others. Bearded Benny looking to go to the air, getting another touch on it, but Preach is there, will make the save. Huey Dangles playing back as we see a demo on Bearded Benny on Preach to push it. Huey Dangles gets that boost, tries to play up towards the center, looking for the ceiling shot, not quite able to get there. Down it falls for No Others. No Others playing across. Preach firing one at the net. Bearded Benny J tries to cut in there, but will be met by Preach with the demo to relieve some of the attacking power. Huey Dangles getting 50. This bounces back out to Bearded Benny J. Huey Dangles looking for it. Gets a quick touch off that back wall. No Others were left is all over it though and pushes this one back down. Down it plays. No Others were left, flicking this one upwards, but Huey Dangles was jumping and was there for it. He gets this one past Preach. Is he able to get back down to it, down towards it, towards the center, throws it there, and Bearded Benny J is there. He puts it away for a 2-0 St. Louis 50 Kings lead. Huey Dangles winning out at midfield and then was able to get it back to the center. Back in we play. Preach off this sidewall, looking for some aerial play. Looking for it off the back wall, puts back down towards the center, but Huey Dangles pushes it wide. No Others were left, pushing back down in the blue half. Bearded Benny J meets him in 50s, and back it goes to where Preach will take about far side center. Off that wall. Preach with one touch, but Bearded Benny J sitting on it. Back up it pops. No Others were left. Plays back towards center. Huey Dangles catches there, going off the sidewall. Off the sidewall, looking for his own aerial play with a quick air dribble. Trying to go far side. Able to get past one, but bumped. Did not able to follow further. Bearded Benny playing back for Huey Dangles. Huey pops this one high. Up he goes. Looking for a chance at a double. Has to fall back down with limited boost. Preach trying to get a touch on that. 50 by Huey Dangles. Up he stays, pushing this one towards the net. Just wide, and Bearded Benny J will force the issue, pushing it even further. No Others were left, cutting in, met by Huey Dangles. 50's back out, Preach looking for a double. Trying to double this one up. Good placement, but Huey Dangles was all ready for it. No Others were left, taking off this far side wall, playing back across. Here it is taken by Huey Dangles again. Preach playing back over to No Others. No Others bringing this up the field as it ends up falling in. Bearded Benny plays back into the orange half where Preach and No Others meet up. Preach pushes this across. Huey Dangles just high. No Others pushes on out into the far side corner. He plays where Bearded Benny is going to force a high 50 where Preach fires a shot. Huey Dangles is equal to the task. Back off this sidewall, Preach forcing the issue, but Huey Dangles finally able to get the clearance. Back into the orange side corner, Huey Dangles plays, gets a demo on one, not quite able to get back around it, so No Others will push this one on out. Bearded Benny J though diving in just wide. Up it goes for Huey Dangles. Huey Dangles firing it into the far corner. Taken by No Others. No Others flicking over for Preach. Preach turning on this one. Ends up 15 with Bearded Benny. Out of the corner we go again. Huey looking for the aerial play into a reset. Not quite able to use it. Down to Preach it falls, and Preach plays out where Benny pushes this one wide. Across it goes. No Others were left. Playing back out towards the center, but Huey Dangles is there. Up for Bearded Benny. Benny with a good touch. Back up for Huey. Huey with the redirect and puts it away. A 3-0 lead with 40 seconds left for the St. Louis 50 Kings. Back to the center we go. 40 seconds left. Into the orange side corners. No Others were left. Flicks past one. Benny J is sitting on it. Up Huey tried to jump. Not quite able to get to that one, but a 50 between Preach and Bearded Benny into the far side corner. No others tries to play across, but Benny turns on it first, pushing back into the corner. Preach trying to take this one on out. Tries to flick, but Huey Dangles dives back in and pushes towards the orange side net. Bearded Benny trying to play across, but met by Preach. Back out to Huey Dangles. Huey Dangles, 7 seconds, gets demoed. Preach firing one towards the net. No others were left, popping it, and it pops just high. Back he plays. Huey Dangles jumping in there in 50 and forcing on into the orange side half, and that's where it will die. St. Louis 50 Kings will take game 1. Thank you for the follow, Huey Dangles, as we wait on players and everything, and we will get back into game 2 then. St. Louis 50 Kings with a 1-0 lead in this after taking game 1 3-0. All players in, we're good to go on this. Into game 2 we go. Back at the center, Bearded Benny J and Preach meet up. Huey Dangles popping this one. Plays off that back wall down towards the center. No others pushing this one on outwards, where it will fall back to Bearded Benny J. No others is able to get a read on it, but it falls back across. Preach tries to play here, met by Huey Dangles. Huey Dangles back into his corner. Falls back down. Bearded Benny J going for a ceiling shot on it. With quick touch, can he get back to it as Preach will push this wide. Huey Dangles with a good read off the wall, and he puts this one away. As we see the initial attempt at the ceiling play from Bearded Benny J, forcing a touch out of the defender, and Huey Dangles was there. He put this one away to make it a 1-0 lead for the St. Louis 50 Kings. Back to the center we go. Bearded Benny J and no others. Meeting back up. Huey Dangles off that sidewall. Tries to play back to himself, but no others is diving in, ensuring that that's not a possibility. Preach playing high. Bearded Benny J getting a good piece of it, and he gets a great piece of it actually, as it'll end up going straight into that orange net. Off the ceiling, but then down and in. 2-0 for the 50 Kings. 48 seconds into this one. Back at the center, Bearded Benny J and no others. Huey Dangles trying to play, but unable to do so. No others pushes across, but Benny J back towards the center for Huey Dangles, and he slides it. The pass into the quick shot from Huey, and he puts that away. Right tight on that near pipe. 3-0 50 Kings with just a minute played. Back at it, Huey Dangles looking like he got a good 50 on it, but no others is able to grab it. Onward he pushes, fires a shot, and he puts it right behind the defender. Put it tight to the pipe, and he puts it away. No others executes on this well, reading the defender coming off the wall, and says that you're not going to have a good time getting back to that place. Away he puts it to pull old fellas back within 2. Still 3 minutes and 50 seconds of gameplay to go. Preach and Huey Dangles 50ing. Down it plays. Huey Dangles playing across for Bearded Benny J. Up it goes. Back down for no others. No others hitting onwards, but Bearded Benny J will force back towards the orange side. Preach off that sidewall. Down it goes. Huey Dangles able to force this one back out, and a good demo from Bearded Benny as he actually gets both, and that's going to open up the net, but no others is able to get back last second and ensure goals not had. The last second heroics there, and back forward he plays. No others out of the corner here. But Bearded Benny turns on it and forces back into the corner and out. Here he goes, looking for it, trying to play on Preach. Ends up playing where Preach is able to get a piece of it and force that one back on out. Bearded Benny J once again 15 with Preach, but across it goes to No Others, and No Others pops back high. Trying to play it himself, plays on upwards towards Preach. Preach firing one that goes off the side pipe, and back out we head. Huey Dangles looking for a flick, but is met by Preach, and up it pops. No Others pushing this one towards the blue net, and it actually goes under the defenders. They were expecting a second touch, and it just never came. They expected touch, but unfortunately it wasn't there. Pulling the old fellas back into this game, only down by 1, 2 minutes, 37 seconds left. Back at the center, Huey Dangles once again met by Preach. No Others fires it toward the net, but Bearded Benny J is there to make the save. Once again, 50ing on forward. Bearded Benny trying to push the pressure on that last defender as it gets played back out to Huey Dangles. Off the side wall, back to himself, unable to quite get it as Preach read that in time. Bearded Benny firing one, but No Others is still there. Preach off that side wall, trying to play back, but Huey pushes this one on out well. He'll grab mid boost and take. Taking looking for a flick, but gets met by Preach, and it does 50 back on out. Across he plays for Bearded Benny. Bearded Benny decides to catch this one, cutting back towards the center, trying to go for an air dribble bump. No Others were left, will clear it though. Down it pops. Preach once again met by Bearded Benny. This one's popping towards the center, but Preach does play low and across. Back towards Huey Dangles. Huey trying to play this one high and up. Up it goes. Huey then with a soft touch, but Preach was in the right location. But a bump opens back up the net, and across it plays. It was unable for Huey to get back to it, but it was there. Bearded playing this one back in his own side half. Taken by Huey Dangles. Off the side wall he plays Preach now with a chance. Going up for the aerial. Aerialing it. Not quite able to get the bump on the defenders. Huey Dangles will make that save. Back to center we play. No Others playing back towards where Preach is at. Preach gonna need to make a play on this one. 50s with Huey Dangles, and out it goes. No Others trying to get a touch on it. Lefts it for Preach. Preach fires one at the net, but Benny J is there and read well. Here we go. No Others trying to play this one on forward, but Huey Dangles is back. No Others does get the good cut on it and plays back across. Cut on one defender back towards the center, not quite able to beat there. Forced on out, taken by Huey Dangles. Huey Dangles looking for it with a good flick, and he puts it away. Back to a 2-goal lead for the 50 Kings. Back to center, Benny J met by No Others. Preach is trying to play bully to make sure he can try to possess this ball. Still ends up heading towards center where No Others pushes this one wide. No Others with another touch up the field. Huey Dangles takes back. Huey Dangles playing on out. Out it pinches. Bearded Benny J looking for one, but Preach with a good 50 on it, and back it plays. Huey Dangles able to push wide. Bearded Benny will throw it off that side wall, and that will buy more time. Up, No Others pops it up for Preach. Preach off, goes back wall and down, but Bearded Benny shuts that down before he gets another chance at it. And we will see the St. Louis 50 Kings taking game 2, 4-2. At this point, we have it where St. Louis is looking to close the series and Old Fella is looking for the comeback. As we saw late in that game, was well contested. It seems as though Old Fellas have been warming up as they go. Alright, everyone does get into the lobby. Here we are. Game 3, St. Louis 50 Kings finding themselves up 2. Preach off the kickoff, trying to get it, can't quite get back around it. will try to center, but Huey Dangles will not allow it. And out he plays good second touch to make sure that it plays on outwards. And here it plays back into the orange side half. In the orange side half, some mishaps. No others playing off that sidewall. Huey Dangles is chasing him onwards. Off the sidewall again. Bearded Benny J looking for something. Playing up for the aerial. And he 50s well. And it finds its way into the back of the net. Bearded Benny J on the 50. The initial save was there for the orange defender, but unable to follow through. No others were left taking that cleanly, but is it good kickoff play is Bearded with the pass to Huey and hits far like crossbar. Preach playing back across. Across and up it plays. Back down towards center. No others jumping at it, playing on forwards. Huey is there for it. Huey trying to make a play, but met by no others. No others off this back wall, and Preach does get a shot, but unfortunately was contested, but no others there for it. But Huey with the last second save. Back on out. Preach playing back towards the center. In the center we see Bearded Benny taking this one off that sidewall. Preach will cut it off and go back towards center. Down it goes and across for Huey Dangles. Huey looking for a 50. 50s well and hits the back wall, but Preach will end up possessing from here. Up he goes with a shot fired, but Bearded Benny is all over that. Bearded Benny playing on out, gets past one, back down to the ground. He takes, plays across for Huey Dangles, but Preach was able to jump in front of that one. No others were left playing this onwards. Bearded Benny needing to push it to the side. With a good touch on out, he 50s the second defender, Huey, but he gets 50'd by Preach as well. Preach now taking it on the offensive, trying to play down with the pass, as that one ends up being rocketed back high off the 50 between the defender and the offense. Back into the corner it goes. Benny pinching this one on out towards midfield. No others tries to possess here. Bearded Benny playing with it, gets a bump, but Preach now trying to take the dribble, unable to do so with the bump by Bearded Benny, but he is able to slide it by the last defender. Well, the bump was good. It ended up putting it just to where Preach ended up needing it, and he was able to get around it and put it back into the net. Old fella's tying this one up, 2:43 to play. Off that wall, back down. Bearded Benny unable to get there. Preach plays far side corner. Off the far side corner and out. Preach off the side wall into the aerial. Looking for it. Gets one. Pinches with the ground and puts it away. Old fellas find themselves leading by one shortly after the first goal. 2:28 left to play. A good little pinch with the ground. The ground pinch to push it back across. And the defender was not ready for that one. Back to the center we go. Preach met by Bearded Benny J. Huey Dangles looking for it with a pinching play. Comes back out center. No others, jumps all over it, and he puts it away. Find Old Fellas with the 2-goal lead in this one. 2:20 left to play. Back to the center we go. No others in Huey. Bearded Benny playing in that corner. Huey with a good redirect, but Bearded was not able to quite get to it. Preach plays back on out. Playing for the air dribble. Up he goes and gets the bump. Preach with the absolutely disgusting air dribble bump on this one to make sure they end up getting a 3-goal lead. Puts it up. Gets the defender out of the way with it. And Bearded was unfortunately just a little bit too far behind the play in order to pop that one high and out. Back to the center it goes, off the kickoff into the blue side half. Bearded Benny J looking for it. Being met by no others with a good flick to try to get by him once, but then back out it plays. Huey with a shot, but no others was all over it. And back down it plays. A good demo from Huey on Preach to open up Bearded Benny to come back in and play it. But Preach ends up spawning in that corner, and back out it plays to the center. Huey is there for the pass off the sidewall from Benny, and he puts it away. St. Louis 50 Kings pulling back in within 2, a minute 40 left to play. Still a lot of time for either team. Here we go, back off the kickoff. No Others and Huey meeting up. Bearded Benny J looking for an aerial play. 50 with Preach and back across. It bounces. Here Huey Dangles plays on forward. Trying to pinch across. Pinch goes a little hard and a little far. So back it comes. Bearded Benny firing one. Preach is there to read it. Down it plays again. Huey Dangles playing into that far side corner. The far side corner. Preach is trying to take now. Preach with a decent pinch off the ground, but it does come back to Huey, but No Others were trying for the save, unable to get. Preach is able to play back on out. Benny with a quick pass up to Huey, but Huey tries to pop. Benny was not able to get back to it. Back down it plays. Preach now off this sidewall, playing into the far blue side corner. Here Huey Dangles takes. Huey Dangles looking for it, popping one high for Bearded Benny, going for a demo on the last, but the last Preach is up and able to make that save. No Others pinches this one back to the side, and yet again back down to the side. Benny looking for the shot, and he slots it into the upper right corner for the 50 Kings to pull back within 1. 34 seconds remain. Back to the kickoff, Preach and Bearded Benny. Plays on out for No Others. No Others off that far side corner, and up he goes, met by Huey Dangles. Back down it goes. Huey Dangles trying to advance, met by Preach, and play back across to No Others. No Others pushes this one wide. Taken by Bearded Benny. Bearded Benny trying to play out, but Preach is all over that one. Gets back down for it. Is unable to get the shot on. And across it goes to No Others. No Others looking for it off the backboard, but Bearded Benny took that one away. Preach back up, looking for one. Off that back wall, Huey Dangles. St. Louis needs one. They need to go the distance. Bearded Benny with a good touchback. Huey does get under that one, and off the side wall he plays back out towards center for Benny, but is unable to get the next touch needed. So we will see Old Fellas taking a game back in this one. Game 3 win for Old Fellas, bringing them back. Do they have what it takes to also take 4 and 5? Or will St. Louis 50 Kings shut out the series? Only time will tell as we load back in for Game 4. Back into Game 4 we go. Here we are. Old Fellas finding their first win in Game 3. With the pressures on the line, they do play up. Huey Dangles and No Other meeting at that center line. Back it plays for Bearded Benny. For the ceiling play he goes, pushing this one onwards. Preach plays on up for No Others. No Others trying to get a shot off. Preach met by Huey Dangles. Back into the far side corner. Bearded Benny J tries to flick. No Others was all over that one. Back into the blue side half, taken by Huey Dangles. Cuts over No Others. And up he goes into the air dribble, trying to put this one away. And he goes under Preach with it. Puts away a goal to give the 50 Kings the lead. 1-0. Only 29 seconds have passed. Still lots of time left to play. Back at that center we go. At that center line, No Others meeting Huey Dangles. 50's on. It shoots back out to Preach. Preach looking for this one from the ground. A flick towards the high. Preach firing. Bearded Benny making a great save. Meeting that shot, making sure they keep their 1-goal lead. Preach playing on. Huey Dangles meets him. No Others pops this one back up high. Goes up for it again, but Huey Dangles will get the first touch off that back wall down to bed. Bearded Benny J, and the bump from Huey Dangles is enough to ensure that this one does find its way into the back of the net. A 2-goal lead for the 50 Kings. 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. Back to the center we go. At center, Huey and No Others were left. doing that fake kickoff. Bearded hits him. Huey back towards the center, far side for Benny. Unable to get to it. No Others tries to play on, but Huey Dangles with a good 50 back down, and it's actually just straight in. St. Louis 50 Kings now finding themselves up 3. The pinch off that 50 was nice for him, right at the net, and right on in. 3:52 left to play. Do the old fellas have it in them? Huey Dangles playing off the sidewall. Out he plays towards the center, looking for an aerial touch. Gets one, tries to take out the defender, but Preach does make the read and a great save. And then even on the follow-up, No Others makes a great save on Bearded Benny J's second chance. Back to the center it goes. No Others with a good touch. Preach able to get to it and pushes it back towards the net where No Others will force it home. Old fellas find themselves with the goal back to pull themselves back to within 2. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play it. Back to the kickoff line. Bearded Benny J and Preach meeting up. Back down to center. Huey Dangles shooting one, but No Others is all over it. Up to Preach he plays. Preach playing back down for No Others. No Others firing one, but Bearded Benny J is there. Bearded Benny J playing on out. Met by Preach. 50's back down. Far side. Preach playing it out of his corner. Leaves it for No Others. No Others popping it off that sidewall. Huey Dangles expecting it to bounce out, but it didn't. So we'll be back for No Others, and he plays across for Preach. Preach firing at the net, but Benny J pushes it back to the side where Huey Dangles is waiting. But Preach gives him a nice present of a demolition. Benny J taking off the wall with the air dribble. Over one. Preach does push it on out. Huey Dangles is up for this, playing back down. Preach jumps and pushes high. Up for No Others. Ends up finding its way under both. And back to Huey Dangles. Huey going for it, but Preach with the dive and is able to get there. And Bearded Benny will put this away, giving the 50 Kings yet again a 3-goal lead. 2 minutes and 32 seconds left to play. We're not even halfway through, so it's definitely still possible for a comeback. But it is where we will have to see how it plays out here. Bearded Benny J taking back in his own corner, unable to take cleanly. Preach popping towards the center of 50 on Huey Dangles. That's popping out high, but the Bearded Benny J pushing it away. Huey Dangles gets on this one, and it looks like he's off to the races, and he is. He'll put it away to give the 50 Kings a 4-goal lead. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. Back to the center we play. We're going to see No Others and Huey Dangles meeting up on this one. As No Others pushes it past the defender. It 50's out towards the center, but Huey Dangles is up first, pushing this on into the orange side corner. In the orange side corner, Benny J off that back wall, and Huey Dangles gets there and puts it to the far side away from the defender, giving the 50 Kings a 5-goal lead. The pass out from Bearded Benny J out to Huey Dangles, and he converts. 2 minutes is still a lot of time, but you got to be feeling pretty confident if you're the 50 Kings now. Bearded Benny J playing this one on to Huey. Huey looking for it. Good pass back to Bearded Benny J, and a great passing play off the kickoff to bring us to the Brazil. Fake the kickoff, find the pass back to the man, and he puts it away. Minute 52 left. 7-1 for the 50 Kings. Into the corner we go. Playing towards the center. Bearded Benny looking for a fancied play. Unable to do so. Was met by the defender and then was forced just wide. Out of this one. Plays into the blue side half. Bearded Benny playing onwards. Preach popping high. Going up for it. Looking for it. Did he get the reset? Looks like unable to do so. Bearded Benny trying to take onward. No Others pushes it on back. Bearded taking the demo. Huey jumps in at that one off the back wall. Up for the double. Not quite able to get. No Others was left out to dry it kind of as Bearded Benny is able to beat him to this. No Others was expecting the initial touch and then just had to keep going with the demos on his teammate. but Bearded Benny was able to beat him to it. 50 Kings, the lead by 7, minute 13 remaining. Preach looking to shove off that sidewall, grabs the boost and on out he plays, tries to get a touch on it. Unable to do so. Bearded Benny J playing on up, trying to slide it away off that back wall, back down. Preach plays on out towards the center, tries to fires one that should still find its way, gets in that defender's way and ensures it. Preach scores for the old fellows, pulling them now back to within 6. 53 seconds. It's definitely a hard task. Can they find the way to muster a miracle? Back to the kickoff. It's played onwards. Preach getting around this, forcing a play towards the center. Bearded Benny trying to play it across, but Preach 50s it, but Huey is all over it when it comes to the center. And out he pinches with that sidewall off the back. Not quite able to get back for the double touch. Almost an insane aerial play, but falling back down for Preach. Huey dives in and gets a piece of it. No others off that sidewall playing for Preach. Preach, one more touch, back down for no others. No others will slot it away. 8 to 3, 24 seconds remain. Still needing 5, large task. It's hard to see the comeback, but you are seeing that this is definitely capable of being a very close series. It seems like this game jumped off to the St. Louis 50 Kings lead. Up, Bearded Benny goes, tries to shove one by Preach, unable to do so. No others playing on out, but Huey Dangles is all over it, and he's trying to dangle it towards the net, but Preach dives in and pushes it away. Preach back towards that center. The demo by no others. Trying to play it back across, trying to find Preach. Bearded Benny will say no and pushes this on outwards, and it drops, where we will see St. Louis 50 Kings take the series 3-1. Thank you guys so much for having me cast this one. It was definitely fun to do. And here we are, where we are having it. St. Louis 50 Kings close out this series on an 8-3 win. We saw them take game 1 and 2. Old fellas looking prime in game 3 and actually pulling the win there. And then St. Louis 50 Kings jumping out to that early lead in game 4 and were able to hold on. Good Rocket League gameplay in the Tier 2 D2-2s division for US East. Well, good luck to everyone in the rest of their IGL seasons, and have a great rest of your night leading into a good rest of your week, as I know for me, I'm definitely going to get to sleep as I have had a long start to the week. But hey, everyone have a great night, and congratulations to the 50 Kings on their win here. Good luck in the rest of the IGL seasons. Later.